Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's June 26th, 2024. Hope you're doing well on this hump day. And the week's off to a good start, pretty productive. Nothing too crazy, or maybe everything too crazy. Whatever you fancy. Oh, I keep forgetting, unfortunately, I'm not really in the rhythm of promoting myself the way that I should be. But I keep forgetting to remind you, or invite you, I should say, to take advantage of the Summer Soul Sale. In the description box below are the details, but generally it's just an opportunity to ask a question at the exchange rate of 11.11 to receive an answer. All right, so if you're interested in that, please again check the description, email me, and wait for my response before your exchange, or donation, I should say, because it pretty much is a donation. 11.11 to ask a question and to get the thorough response that you'll receive. It's really donation. It's certainly not payment. Trust me on this. I'm not being rude. I'm not being arrogant. It just is what it is, because I always give more than I receive. I just do. So let's see what we got today here. Oh, okay. I like this. The start of that. The 8 of Wands. Communication, fast, sudden, maybe shocking, accelerating, progressive communication, action, opportunities, inspiration. Could be breakthrough. Let's see what's on the other side of that. Off of seeds that have been planted already, where it may have seemed a bit slow. Yeah, we're going to take that in the upright, where there's been a long-term investment made, and now it seems that like the harvest may just be springing up out of nowhere or rapidly. When you first put the seeds in the ground and you don't quite know, at least from my thoughts, because I'm not a farmer, although I must have been in a former life, or that must be my destiny in this life, because I'm always talking about farming like I know. So low-key, I would like to harvest cannabis, but premium seed. I may never do it. It was really a more of a dream of mine before, when I was more of a heavier smoker, to harvest my own crops, because I could account for where it's coming from, how it's grown, the quality of it, and not this GMO stuff they got out here, even in some of these dispensaries, which to be honest, I've never actually purchased anything from a dispensary, but something in me just is not too trustworthy of them, given it's sanctioned by the good old boys, meaning the government, not a racial slur. But so I guess I should say the good old boys and gals to that part. But yeah, side note, it's still a lingering thought in my spirit, but I may have outgrown it. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of what this could even be here, that you may have planted at a certain place and had an expectation for growth, or even to stay planted. Ooh, that's a thing. To stay planted in a place, you physically, and there could be a rapid transition occurring that may or may not mean that you leave some crops behind, or maybe some ideas, or some long-term investments that maybe you were expecting to really kind of cultivate over an extended period of time, you may be transitioning elsewhere. You could be called to go elsewhere. You could be thrust into a new environment, a new space, or have a new idea. Like I just said, maybe I'm not even wanting to do that anymore, but perhaps I'm far too inspired in other things for that to ever be a reality at this point in my life. But who knows? You never know. They see, yeah, Queen of Swords. You never know, but certainly an objective perspective of it all, not to be too attached to what you may have invested a great deal in, especially if it's not yielding what you desire. But more emphasis on the decision making. I want to say discernment, but I get discernment more for the Queen of Cups. So I wouldn't necessarily say discernment. Maybe let's, for all intents and purposes, let's say discerning your next course of action may be very objective. It may not be as, it may be detached from an emotional impression or an emotional, influence otherwise, where you may, sometimes it's hard for us to leave behind or to stop doing a thing or detach from something that we've been nurturing for a long time, even some things within ourselves, but duty calls, and this is a hell of an opportunity to advance far more progressively than you probably may have intended to do so, doing what you're doing now or with the ideas that you thought would do that. So I don't know, that could be it, but the discerning part is most pronounced in this moment, so that you don't allow yourself to hold on to anything that could put you in a position to forfeit something better, but that you also may be settled enough as well, or focused and dedicated enough to know when you should absolutely continue to cultivate and sow where you are, and perhaps that is the point of advancement, where you were building or creating, investing may have been a slow progress up until now, and then all of a sudden, here you go, taking off. So it would be up to you, quite insightfully, I would say, in the energy of the Queen of Swords, to be open to the realest and most objective possibility of all things considered, because that's what the Queen of Swords does. Oh, well, then we got the King of Swords that's going to be the one to actually activate the choice, but now I'm seeing this damn Five of Cups. So we may be talking about some other energy here now that I'm looking at this, because we got the King and the Queen of Swords, though. That's counterparts. But usually, first of all, it's almost always never that the Queen and King of Swords come up together, because theoretically, they are counterparts that may or may not really even be on the same page. Now, I'm more inclined to feel like they are when it's more in a position like this, even if they're at a distance, where the Queen of Swords is facing the King of Swords and with the King of Swords facing forward. But when her back is to him, it's kind of hard for me to consider that these are two people that are actively on the same page. The only thing saving them in this regard is that they're actually side by side. So it could even be two people that share space but may not be on one accord. And then we got the Five of Cups here, which is like some type of regret or despair or, something not favorable. So yeah, so I don't know what this is about, but everything that I already said still stands. Just in the presence of the king behind the queen brings another frequency over this little spread here. And even, it's like he's behind the queen. The queen's sword is like drawn. She seems to be more, more in the dictator position over this Seven of Pentacles. Like she has an expectation from this seven. And he looks quite disappointed. So again, it could be counterparts that have been working together, partners that have been working together, could even be, co-workers, but two people that are either have a high level of position or more or less have like a lateral distance from each other in terms of rank and power. But again, I still feel like there may be some discord here because either something has, there may be a dissatisfaction in profits, and maybe even money is being lost when I'm looking at it in that regard. This is like, the way it's positioned here is like maybe it's like a decline in profits. So maybe it could be a business losing interest or losing profitability here, losing customers. Something's happening here in the way that I'm looking at it now. Ooh, and then we got the hot, and it's a secret. It's like whatever is happening, it's something that, like, say it is like two executives of a company. It's something that they would not want to be reported or wouldn't want to, like, say like a stock market decline or something like that. Yeah, with the something like that. Interesting. So a company could be faltering, or companies, hell, in this climate, could be faltering in ways that they're not honestly reporting or not being transparent to report. But behind the scenes, it's like devastation. But they're not reporting their losses transparently because they don't want to further affect their market value, which ultimately would create another decline. More decline, I should say. Interesting. The High Priestess here. Yeah, there's something hush hush or something concealed. But we know in this climate, nothing can be concealed for too long, especially if it is not in integrity. So it even could be, now that I'm looking at it too, it could be behind the scenes trying to figure out a way to raise profit value, market value, to catch up with the projections. Oh, it could be that, like somebody wasn't 100% forthright in the projections of their business what they expected to make, and maybe they made some promises or inflated their projections to investors or to board members or whatever, and now they're having to kind of maintain a united front because both of their asses are on the line in some way, shape, or form, but they're definitely not on one accord either as to how to advance this profit margin or close it or whatever, however it may be said correctly, or to advance the business in a way where it is flourishing to satisfactory of all parties that could be involved, including themselves. Yeah, but it seems like, ooh, depression, 5 of Cups. Ooh, is this a bigger ordeal? That this could be, this could be a wave of corporations that have been doing this or may be caught out there doing something in this way, where secretly they're taking all types of hits but not saying so to protect their assets. But it ends up really backfiring, not just against the company itself, but in whatever way they service the community. Maybe contributing more to inflation than what we already got going on. I hope not. I don't need no more of that. But anyway, let's see what else we got here. Oh, you know what? And it absolutely could. I got one on the floor, one up. Ooh. Whoa. Yeah, somebody's trying to keep guard. Okay, and that definitely speaks to what I was about to say. Because I was thinking that one, if not, now I hate to be, of course, sexist or I don't think I can be misogynistic, can I, as a woman, but sexist maybe, I don't know. But I was gonna say that one of these folks of the King and Queen of Swords may be the reason why they're not really in a synergized posture on the board, meaning her facing him, or something that is a little bit more connected, is because this one of them could be an investigator, or even could be a lawyer or something like that. But now I'm feeling like it may be an investigator or somebody that's in a position to question all that I've said, like to do a deeper dive. Yeah, and that's, as I was saying, like not emotional about their findings, not particularly attached, or definitely not biased one way or another, just simply objective to observe maybe the books or the reports or something, the profit, I don't even know what you call it, or the projections or the profits, whatever it may be, and is seeing the discrepancies. And maybe like even, I don't know, but in this case, if that is the case, that someone is in a position of authority they would be sworn to an oath as well to actually report on what they observe or what is investigated. And I would naturally kind of think, I don't know. Now, because the King of Swords is over the Emperor in reverse, that's why I'm feeling like he would probably be, at first I was seeing him as like some collective, force or co-workers or partners or something like that. Maybe still, but I'm also seeing this Emperor as who would be the boss or a CEO for sure, that is in the reverse. So that's like sheer corruption right there. Somebody that is not playing by the rules. They're taking liberty with their power, with their influence. Under the King of Swords, if that is the same energy, they're not being honest and forthright, as I've said, not giving any of the facts in this case, with it being in reverse, or definitely manipulating the truth or corrupting the truth to manipulate whichever one, Yeah, with the Page of Swords here. I just got like leaking false information. But in this case, like leaking false information that would it be against another company or against another business entity of some sort? I heard that clearly, because to leak information that would be in your favor, I just don't know how effective that could really be. You wouldn't want to draw more attention to yourself, than it's one thing to spin a narrative where you have to, but then to leak stories, like good stories about yourself, I guess it could work the same to help spin a narrative as well. Like somebody that may even be maybe leaking stories to do damage control from what may be exposed. But I don't think anybody's buying it though. Mainly because the outlets that they're using are not credible. The Page of Swords is not really a credible source. So it could even be like putting stuff out through the rumor mill and social media, or just like little blurbs here and there that aren't really, solid. And then the reflection still is the Emperor in reverse. So either way, it may even be that those narratives have actually backfired to do more damage. The damage control has done more damage. Yeah, it could be something like that. Because the truth can't be suppressed, like I said, in this season, especially if you have those that have taken an oath to uphold the truth and are actually honoring that. You can't really get around that at this time if you're in the crosshairs of it. But it could be somebody that gave it a strong college try. Yeah, here's like the Six of Cups trying to invoke some emotional attachment. Or dependency with the Six of Cups. Trying to invoke, I'm hearing sympathy or invoke compassion. I don't know what that's about with the Emperor in reverse. I don't know, maybe trying to solidify their position with nostalgia, like maybe they've had certain connections or affiliations, or maybe it could be like practically you've been in service to the community a certain way for such a long time that you're trying to like more so play on the hearts of that emotional attachment, you know, rather than this villainized image of yourself, like to kind of overshadow, yeah, because he's kind of looming over her, like overshadow the truth of what may even be exposed with this feminine energy here, with pleasantries, like I don't know how to say that. You know, like, oh, it's me, you know me, you know, like you've been knowing me for years. Like I've helped the community. I've done this, like bringing up all these receipts that would speak that speaks to the information, the narrative that highlights more of their positive traits and attributes into the light to try to pale the credibility of what is being exposed. But I don't know. Because otherwise somebody, I mean, the Emperor in reverse, that's a narcissist. No self-control. Again, not honoring boundaries or respect for others, taking advantage of those that he is supposed to serve in some capacity or another, or even supposed to protect. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think that might be falling on deaf ears. Maybe trying to plead this case. Yeah, with the Five of Wands here. It's over. Whatever somebody was doing that was not upright has come to an end, and now they're having to ultimately face the reality of whatever they've created at this point. Face the pressure. That's what it is, the pressure of the consequences of their actions. So they could be getting pressed from the public, whatever the public is in this case. They could be getting pressed from law enforcement or from some legal perspective. They could be impressed from investors whom they haven't been honest with, be impressed by this depletion of profits to their livelihood. Of course, actually pressed and depressed with the Five of Cups, because everything is kind of falling apart and they're still trying to do their due diligence to maintain, you know, an honest facade. Like, no, everything's good. Like, I don't know why you don't believe me. I've been doing this for years. This is all I've ever wanted to do, was serve the public, serve the people. That's all I've ever done, is give, and serve. And lo and behold, all they've been doing is taking. And now that that all is coming to the surface or being exposed in some way, it's like really kind of hard to alleviate the stress of it all. Yeah, and they have the Two of Wands, the plan that they would want to enact. But I feel like with the world, you know, that world in the hands, like almost a small globe, their perspective is too limited at this point. And the territory of which they have to cover to actually do damage control, to actually change the narrative into something more suitable, to actually fix the problems within their organization or in whatever, their energetic force field. If this is not a business, then just somebody having to answer for the consequences of their actions that have been dishonorable under the terms of great responsibility and accountability to be managed. And they've done way too much and still have far too narrow of a view to actually do something that would be impactful at this time, outside of anything but for themselves, I would say. So maybe to make a definite change in action and perspective for themselves, but the rest of this is kind of like already out of control. And that's definitely probably was playing a great deal on somebody's ego. That's also with the Emperor in reverse, like somebody that is like maybe even an egomaniac to some degree. They can't even accept what is happening at this time. Like they refuse to almost surrender or submit to the truth at this point, outside of how they want to perceive it or how they want to spin it, which is also contributing to their narrow perspective or perception. To actually put a plan into place that would be progressive. Wow. With the Seven of Swords. Because at the core of it all, they're still just trying to get away with deception, lies, and maybe even the destruction that they've caused on account of deception and lies. They don't want to take the rap for that. I just felt like this could even be somebody that is shifting the blame onto lesser employees or you know, like they're trying to push the fault onto others in an effort to what's the right word? De-incriminate? Well, they're incriminating others to pretty much liberate themselves, or it's not that. What is the word? To absolve themselves, I guess. It's throwing hella people under the bus, perhaps, or willing to, and to kind of stand on their faults to exalt their benevolence or their innocence, maybe even claiming ignorance as to how things got to this way, when clearly someone was in total control of whatever this is. Six of Wands. They're trying to get away with a victory in this, like still trying to get away unscathed. To beat the case. That's what I just heard. To beat the case. Beat the rap. Whether it's just word of mouth, the bad rap that they're getting on their reputation, or actually some type of legal situation here. Yeah, they don't want it to be exposed that they were taking more than their fair share. It's on the bottom. 9 to the 10. Whomever they were taken from, yeah, but you know what? This could also be exactly what I was just saying. It's like trying to leave the blame onto something, like literally get away with the bag. And here's someone is sitting here that may not even be deserving to take that rap, which is probably why they're running right into the 10 of Wands ultimately from the 7 of Swords, because you don't get to do that in this season. Like, you have to be accountable for where you were the creator of whatever is happening, whatever you're accountable for, or whatever you're being held accountable for. So that's what that could be, like really, really a real dirtbag, because the 9 of Cups in the upright is someone that rightfully has earned their place of satisfaction here. Like, they almost deflecting, that's what it is. That's why I said what I said at first, because they're deflecting their deceptive energy onto those that more or less do have like a pretty pristine reputation, rightfully though. Like, this is the energy of someone that has earned the right to be proud of themselves because they live upright. They don't have anything to hide per se. That's what I'm picking up on the energy today. Some days it can be completely different. If you know, you know. But on the 9 of Cups against the 7 of Swords, it's like somebody trying to deflect their guilt onto someone else that does not deserve it, and also seems to be a bit unsuspecting of it as well. Maybe even was a loyal friend, or I hear servant. I don't even know what that means, but maybe a loyal subordinate or partner or whatever, but they see an opportunity. This is an opportunist of the worst kind here with the 7 of Swords to get themselves out of a jam, and they don't care what the casualty may be. This man could even have a family, and this person may have even, might be the godfather of somebody's kids, may come over for Christmas every year, or has been over for Christmas or Thanksgiving at some point. Like, intimate enough of a connection for there to be an expectation for loyalty, and it's quite the opposite. Damn. And it could even be now that I'm seeing with the Ten of Cups, this could be the representation of a group of folks that have been loyal, or that this person was, that literally could be of subordinates or part of a community of sorts, because it's the Ten of Cups, more so like soul family or soul tribe, or like a group of people that are more or less on like the same wavelength. It doesn't have to be blood family, but it just seems like somebody would be willing to sacrifice one, if not a group or all of folks, to save himself. And in the way they're being sacrificed, it doesn't seem like they are aware or deserving. Like the Nino Brown effect when he got, I always say that, but yeah, look at this, Five of Pentacles. That's a damn shame to leave people high and dry. Literally high and dry. Not so much the high for the Pentacles, but maybe destitute, vagrant. So much despair that you want to smoke something to numb the pain. So maybe, yeah, it could be that bad with the Five of Pentacles, because that under the Five of Cups, yeah, somebody definitely tried to trade off, deflect their sentence onto someone else. What it is that they deserve, the energy they deserve to be in on account of their actions, they more or less found a loophole, or at least tried to, or will try to find a loophole to transfer that disadvantage to someone else. And they may not be holistically innocent, although with the Nine of Cups to the Ten of Cups, I would say there's some innocence there, or maybe just naive. I don't know. Again, just unsuspecting, but whatever it is, they don't deserve this. They don't deserve this. That the Five of Pentacles, it could be just like, even be the people that have not been privy to the truth of the true projections of this business, because the numbers have been falsified. They may have lost their life savings or all their investment in the stock of this company, but had no heads up, no warning, no, damn, that's messed up. And you know how people start to get when they lose money at a shocking rate. Five of Cups, Five of Pentacles. People start, that's why I said, like, maybe it is some people, trying to take the edge off, or that really even might feel compelled to take the edge off of their life, if you know what I mean, because of the gravity of the despair that they just never saw coming. Damn, so this could be a company, a CEO that maybe, again, was either stealing funds, or just by way of their false projections put a lot of people into financial debt. And health could be affected now, people's livelihoods. They don't know where they're going to live, how they're going to support themselves. It's on the bottom. But yes, and it's spreading through the community, because this person was only willing to give as much information as he absolutely had to keep people engaged, to keep people loyal, keep them investing, maybe even maybe that's who he was talking to when I'm saying, like, spinning the narrative, like, me, you know who I am, I'm all about harmony and fairness and balance. I only want to see you succeed. We're all in this together. We're a family. Stick in there, hang in there. Maybe even finessing people to give more, even in light of the rumors of dysfunction. If they didn't outright know for sure, like maybe just the word starting to kind of circulate that the company's in trouble or the CEO is corrupt or we're being investigated, and they finessed the hell out of the situation to keep people engaged just enough to leave them with nothing. Well, that's the end of that. Because like I said, you're not getting away with that in this season. And Saturn is about to do its thing. It's doing something on Saturday. I don't know if it's going retro or we're going back direct again, but it's doing something, I believe, on this Saturday. Or is it going into Pluto? Or it's doing something. Shoot, I almost want to look that up, but maybe it's not necessary. The point is, like, that's the world card, with Saturn being the 3D world. And whatever it is, it would behoove anyone that inhabits the earth in the 3D to be on their P's and Q's. Certainly not looking to create new karma for themselves, being insistent upon inflicting more trauma, even more than what they already have to answer for, you know. But it seems to me that no matter what, somebody's going to have to answer for. Yeah, with the Emperor in reverse and then the Page of Cups, that's like a very distorted dynamic here. Abusive, I would even say, for a parent and a child, but a parent in reverse. The Emperor in reverse is like a father figure, or again, like a boss or something like that. So that just doubles down on what I'm saying. It's not just like, oops, sorry, didn't know how to tell you. It's like, no, I'm going to flame these motherfuckers so I can escape type of energy, or get away with as much of the bag as I possibly can, not caring what that means for them. Or it was all their fault, I had nothing to do with it type of energy. I didn't even know what they were doing on that level. I was up here being the CEO. How could I? You knew everything. You were, at this rate, this is somebody who is a micromanager, or like I said, like even a narcissistic boss that don't let nothing fly by him. He's reading emails between folks that don't even have nothing to do with him. He's listening to phone calls on the line that he ain't supposed to be on. He's ear hustling through the office, maybe even paying. Oh, here it is with the Page of Swords. Maybe even like procuring like minions and spies and stuff, to informants. That's what it more so is, to not only bring him information, but then also to plant information that would become, you know, the word through the rumor mill. Like, this is somebody real messed up. But they're definitely not going to escape not one single consequence by way of the 10. They're not going to be able to put not one of those wands down that they're deserving to carry. That's how they're starting their new world order. It's like the end of them being at in the power and having the influence to create all this damage and destruction, and now the beginning of a world in which they actually get to bear that load for themselves, like carry that karma. Back at square one at the Page of Pentacles with very little resources to do so. So up here where they were at the 7 and they had harvested the 1, but at least still had the promise of the other 6. If they may have been able to enact a real point, a real plan of action that would have been fair and balanced for all. But it's like somebody got kind of caught out there and then they just doubled down and doubled back and just kind of torched the whole situation and everybody up in it. And now all they have left to show for it, barely, is this Page of Pentacles. One little measly page. Everything that they worked for, everything that they invested for, everything they were even trying to save and protect, gone. And they still have to face this music. Maybe even this, because the Page of Pentacles is kind of like an offering in a sense. Maybe having now to pay debts or restitution or restoration or something, even karmic retribution, of which they don't have to pay with the Page of Pentacles. They don't have it to pay. They owe far more than what they can actually satisfy at this point. Yep, and here's the water cooler, the rumor mill. Sometimes I see it as like chit chat around the water cooler. Everybody's talking about how they want their money, and maybe even like, I don't know. It's kind of out of sequence for it to be what I'm about to say, but I was going to say maybe even like discord unbeknownst to the leader, you know, because I don't know, maybe I am kind of out of order in a bit, and this hasn't happened, you know, the retribution part. So maybe this is the discord in the ranks of people that are not buying what's being sold to them as the truth, and they're starting to form, you know, resistance under his nose. So where he thinks he's plotting to leave the co-workers holding the bag, they may already be getting together, maybe even feeding information to authorities, or starting to congregate in a way that would be a bigger force against the leader than what he intends to be on them. This is somebody showing some documents to someone that's observing. You know, they could be bringing evidence to officials or leaking it. They could be leaking the stories. Oh, wow. They could be the one leaking the stories about the company's decline, or what's going on the inside, or whatever this is. Like, they could be the ones that are the reason why it's becoming more of a public exposure, or at least exposure to those that have influence enough to do something about it, or to question it or challenge it. And it maybe if they haven't, they will be, especially if they're disgruntled in the way that he treated them. What loyalty or allegiance would be left at that point? And they got all the receipts, or enough of the receipts, to really, you know, build a case or help support a case that would be contrary to the narrative that somebody's trying to uphold. Damn. That's what it is. Oh. Ace of Swords. That's the truth. the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God, so says the witnesses. They willing to testify, honey. And sometimes with the Three of Pentacles, I do see that as like some type of official courthouse or bank or financial institution, some type of, you know, archaic architecture, you know, like not archaic so much, but historic, maybe, you know, like an old bank would look, or like the courthouse looks. Is usually pretty old in most places, with the archways and stuff and the columns. Yeah, that's wild. All right, let me get one more and I'm out of here. Like I said, you ain't getting away far these days, especially when you just did too much dirt. Like, I don't know why, but that's the narcissist for you, to think that he was so invincible, or he had covered his tracks enough. Maybe he thought that his hands he would still look clean, like he was, you know, like, I didn't know, like literally claiming ignorance. And it would be justifiable to shift the blame onto those that were actually doing the work day to day. But there's some despair of knowledge here, where some people may not have been privileged to know what they were contributing to while they were working. They may have been under the guise of it being some other business or objective, when it was actually for something corrupt, you know. And here they are being swept up with it, and ain't nobody going down for that when they're not supposed to, when they literally didn't know. Oh, what's that? The High Priestess again. Well, and it came out a little bit sideways, how it flipped open, but I feel like that's just like the secrets are just flying every which way to the point of no control. Like, nobody can control this narrative at this point. Nobody can control what's exposed, not even the people that are involved or may even be incriminated to some degree. It's like, even they must be upright and forthcoming in their actual involvement. Like, they can't operate like him, you know, like to absolve themselves, like, no, we didn't know anything. Because I was actually going to say before I flipped that card that I feel like it's a healthy balance of both, where some people really didn't know what they were contributing to, where they were just ignorant or just loyal enough to the narrative that, you know, to whatever. Because I did say something about emotional attachment. So this energy is capable of anything, you know. They may have allured or seduced people into collaboration or contributing to this agenda because of their past connections or relationship. Could be family members, could be friends, could, you know, there could be some connection there where people were more inclined to want to trust and or support this establishment, just simply on the fact of who it was attached to and their history with that person. So somebody played on those relationships, you know. So it could have been a range of of awareness here, where some people really didn't know, or they knew a little bit but didn't know the whole thing. Maybe some didn't want to know, they just knew they was getting paid, so they turned a blind eye. Some people may have known more than enough and still decided that it was worth the risk. So however the range, you know, is true, everyone would need to own up to their part in it honestly in order to escape retribution all the same. You know, it wouldn't be a matter of anybody escaping by scapegoating the leader. even if, you know, they may not have known it all or whatever it was, it's like everybody has got to take accountability for their part in it and what they agreed to, why, you know, like total transparency at this point, highest integrity, or that might be the determining factor as to how people are sentenced or what repercussions they have to face on account of the accountability they're willing to take. It's like somebody trying to cut a deal, giving up all the tape on what they know to be corrupt or illegal or whatever, dishonest, but they're not willing to say how they contributed to that, or they're not willing to say, yeah, well, I did this too, or this was my part. It's like, I didn't know anything. I swear, I was just showing up to work every day. I didn't know what we were doing. I was just collecting a check. And for some, that might be true, but not for everybody. It's not true for everybody. It's just not likely. So, however, that will be the determining factor, because we're talking about perhaps spiritual justice here, where, however, you know, it's like literally examining everyone's role and position here. Like this person even almost examining somebody's testimony, like, well, what did you contribute? What was your role? Where were you on so and so and so a date? You know, and if people are not willing to be honest, it's not going to be in their favor. It will probably backfire worse than if they just tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help them God. So yeah, Four of Swords, like just fall on that sword of truth, plead the mercy of the court, spiritual or otherwise, and there may be grace, you know, there may be lenience or mercy or understanding, or there could be some provision for the trauma that they may have incurred being a part of this, and ultimately being you know, at the end victimized in some way, because everybody already took a hit, whatever this is, on account of just this association and affiliation. It was hit. There was a decline and a huge detriment to all those involved, one way or another, or it will be either way. So it's like you can't even already escape the consequences as they are, but you can certainly advance them to be worse, or to, you know, be a little bit less than perhaps maybe you even deserve, just on account of being boldly honest and forthright. So let's say, yeah, with the Queen of Wands. Yep, bold. Boldly honest. I don't even know what this really means. The Queen of Wands with the Four of Swords. And I just got real hot all of a sudden. Yeah, maybe even, you know, withstanding the pressure and the heat that, like I said, is coming down on everybody, but taking ownership and accountability for your part, your activity. Yeah, that's what that is. Owning up to it, and more or less looking forward to the mercy of of the court, or the mercy of the judgment. Even though judgment didn't come out, I feel like I can take liberty to say that this is something that is already in judgment, or is about to be judged quite harshly. Anytime you got an Emperor in reverse, that's somebody that has a great deal of responsibility that they just didn't do anything well with. So anybody that may still be loyal or connected to that agenda is not in a good position. They are absolutely in the direct line of fire. So it would be good for anybody that has regained or, re-established integrity at this point, even if it's on account of how they've been disenfranchised. It still matters to be as honest as possible. Yeah. Because that would be quite transformative for to evolve beyond this trauma for those involved and for anyone that may have been affected, to just be as honest as possible, as bold and courageous in that truth as possible, to impress a change. Maybe even with the hope of, as I said, like somebody's looking at a new start in stress and under pressure, maybe even under duress. But that doesn't have to be the fate for everybody here. Some can have a fresh start that still calls for some preservation of creativity and pure passion here. There's definitely provision for that under the best circumstances. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there because I said a lot, even though I said it quite figuratively. I hear the spiritual implications, and I even hear the connections between my last story time about this corrupt establishment. And there are so many more layers to that I didn't want to really approach it from that point of view. I wanted to kind of keep it simple, because if it applies, then it applies, and it can apply on even more scales than that reflection or projection, whichever, that account from Sunday. But certainly definitely has inflections of it in this message. I certainly hear it. Even though I don't always speak on what I hear and what I see in the moment, I move as I feel guided to transmit the message, because sometimes it's not the time or the place to approach it from that angle. And it needs to be more general, more universal message, in which this kind of is, because whatever this is, it could be something, people that have taken liberties in your life as a controlling figure or dominant figure that are now more or less just confronting their karma, and ultimately will be eliminated from or disabled in some way from causing further harm. But that could be happening, like I said, on a personal level in your life, and from a higher perspective, globally, universally, nationally. So, and is right before our eyes anyway, but this is just what was transmitted in this way today. So as long as you stand upright, you ain't got nothing to worry about. That's for sure. Staying true to form, true to supreme self, and honoring your integrity no matter what. You're good and you're protected. All right, so that's that on this Wednesday. Thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.